Executive pay has captured almost everybody's attention. If there's one statistic that people want to quote to show how out of touch business is with society, it's the sheer level that executives get paid. For example, in the UK, a FTSE 100 CEO earns £5 million. That's nearly 150 times what the average worker earns. And so the view is, if the CEO just didn't get paid so much, there'd be more for everybody else to go round. But that's based on the pie splitting mentality. That's based on the idea that the only way that you can create more value for society is by taking less value for yourself. And CEO pay at 5 million might seem a lot, but compared to firm value, that's only 0.06%. The best way in which a CEO can create value for society is by growing the pie, is by innovating and by taking long-term decisions. So the most important dimension of pay to reform is not the level, but the horizon. Tying pay to the long term, that will give the CEO the incentives to invest in workers, to invest in research and development, and invest for the long term. There is a common belief that CEO pay is not linked to performance, but that's actually not the case. So what people look at is how salary changes with firm performance, and it indeed isn't very sensitive. For example, Steve Jobs only earned $1 per year at Apple, regardless of how Apple performed. But just looking at changes in salary ignores the vast majority of an incentive that a CEO has, which is the amount of her own wealth tied up in her firm in the form of shares. Even though Steve Jobs' salary was fixed, because he owned so much of Apple, he was hugely sensitive to Apple's performance. Indeed, if Apple had underperformed, he would have lost the vast majority of his wealth. Therefore, by paying CEOs like owners, not by bureaucrats, we tie them to the long-term fortunes of their firm.